loud recording. Oh, there we
Now
go.
it's now it's recording. We're okay.
Right,
All
that's
right.
fine.
So
Okay,
take
right.
your
So
right
C is the
hand.
melody note. Okay, so the obvious chord there would be C major 6. So I've got the C, the melody note, the 6th, the 3rd, root down there, another root there. You can have a 5th there as well, or just that.
Okay.
Okay, now remembering that C major 6, it
Now what?
contains
When
the
you play
same.
that's you're not playing the five in your right hand, right?
You can do. You can
Okay.
play it like that. That's fine. Or you can miss it out.
Okay. Fine.
Or you can have it in the left hand. Or you could have it. You could have
Okay.
three roots and two fifths, whatever.
Okay. So
Okay.
then you're playing C6, C5, C6, or right. Fine. Keep going.
Okay. So remembering that the notes of C6 are the same as the notes of A minor 7,
Right.
then obviously you can make it an A minor 7 chord.
Right.
So in that case, that C is now the third of the chord. So
Right.
root down there, fifth and seventh. So that is the complete chord. You could put another root in there if you like. You could put another root, a fifth there. All of that just thickens the texture, but that in itself is, a complete chord. Um, it's the fifth of an F major 7 chord. So root down there or down, probably down there, third major 7th, or F major 6. So you could play it like that.
Right.
Now, if you look at the right hand there, that is also D minor 7. So,
Right.
and remember that D minor 7 contains the same notes as F major 6. Um, so that's the sort of basic ones that you could do it in. But if you were in the key of C, you would very often use secondary dominants. So, for instance, you could play a D7. So root there, third there. You've got everything there basically. You would usually want to add something like a ninth,
Okay.
going to a flattened ninth. Um, I
This is
just thought there's something
valuable.
I've missed out.
Yeah, I appreciate this. This is valuable to me.
Something I missed out when I said about the D minor 7.
Right.
Of course, you can also play a D minor 7 chord, but with G in the bass, which then makes it a G11 or G
Okay.
sus4. So G is the root, D is the fifth, F is the third, A is the ninth, and the C is a suspended fourth or 11th. Same thing.
Okay.
And then normally that would resolve to the third, the ninth, to the flat ninth. You could do, trying to think, if we're
You could do the
restricting it
you could
to
do the
C
you
major with,
could do you could do the diminished chord, right? You could do the
yes, you
flat
could
D
do a
flat. Yeah.
diminished seventh chord, yeah. Um, so you could play that, as a block chord like that, or you could do it as a drop two like that. Um, so basically, as far as diatonic chords in the key of C, that's it. That's your lot. Um, but usually most pieces of music, even the most simple,
Right.
go into other keys at some point.
Right.
So if you want me to take you through what other chords,
Put in what other
you
chords
can.
what in your
Okay.
mind most frequently
So for
add
instance,
the more
you
frequently used
could
ones.
play say a B flat major 9 chord like that.
Okay.
So that is the ninth, root, third,
Right, I see it. Yep.
major seventh, and then put the fifth in, so you could play it like that. Um, the A minor 7, by the way, let me just, that is a nice voicing to use over that, where you've got that ninth in the middle next to the third.
And what notes are you playing in your right hand? You're playing the C,
So the right hand I'm playing two C's, so that's two
right?
thirds, root down there, seventh there, and then with the left hand thumb, I'm putting it on the ninth next to the C, next to the
Oh, I
third
see.
there.
Right.
I think
You're
it's a
play,
lovely sound that.
you're playing the you're playing the C in the right hand. C E G A C.
Yep, that's
Okay.
it, yep.
Okay.
Um, you could play an F sharp half diminished seventh chord. So F sharp, the root, C is the fifth, A is the third, E is the seventh. Um, you could play an F minor 6 chord, or if you put D in the bass, that would be a D minor 7 flat 5, because
Mhm.
F minor 6 and D minor 7 flat 5 contain the same notes. This is an interesting one, that if you played that chord over G in the bass, that's another different sus chord there. So you instead of starting off with the ninth and the 11th, we're starting off with the flat ninth.
Mhm.
And that's a nice one that you can make little arpeggios. So all I'm doing there is just going down an F minor 6 chord, but with G in the bass. And then you would, resolve it onto a G7. So um, I'm trying to think of any others. You could play an E flat 6 chord. So C is the sixth, E flat is the
Right.
root, B flat is the fifth, G is the third. You could make it E flat 7, in which case the C becomes the 13th. Add F, and you've got quite a nice colourful chord there. You could do the flattened fifth substitute of that, make it A7, in which case it's going to sound harsh now. The C is now the sharpened ninth.
Yeah. Can we go to the view on top with the keys, that the blue keys? We should have been doing that from the beginning, but
Yeah, sorry. Do you want the virtual keyboard?
yeah. Do you
Yeah,
have that set up to be able to do that, or you know?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just got tilt me tilt, and then
Yeah, that's it. Let's just go through them quickly, and this way we'll just put your hand on it, and then we'll say what each one is for a second, just so we have them.
yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll start again then from the beginning. So we've got C, making it a C6 chord. So you've got C the melody, C the bass, E the third, A the sixth. Now you can have a fifth either there or both, and you can add another root. You can double the root and fifths on major and minor chords quite freely, and it doesn't change the sound, it just changes the denseness, of the
Okay.
text.
For simplicity, let's just try to
Just keep it like
G,
that.
that's it. They're just a simple right-hand chord. So right, that's
Okay. Okay then. All
okay.
right. So bearing in mind that the C6 contains exactly the same notes as A minor 7, if I play A in the bass, and now I'm putting the G in, that was the fifth of C6, so it was optional, but in A minor 7, it's the
Right,
seventh, so now it becomes, you've got to put it in.
right,
Okay? You could play D minor 7. So I'm going to keep all these as simple as possible.
right. Good.
So the left hand is the root, the right hand we've got the third, the fifth, and the seventh. Now, if I play F in the bass and add D in the right hand, we've now got an F6 chord.
Right,
If I play that same chord exactly, but with G in the bass instead, we've now got G, suspended fourth, that's a suspended fourth, that is the ninth. And usually the top two notes go down one semitone, the fourth to the third, the ninth to the flattened ninth. Um, so I think that's taken us through all the diatonic chords. That means ones that have all come from the C
right.
major scale. But there's lots and lots of other chords. So the
Just
D
try to put
minus.
them in the order of which the. I mean, I'm not going to test you on it. I mean, just the ones that you most commonly see used.
Okay, right. Well, let's just say on the G's. Oh no, sorry. It's still with C as the melody.
C
You
is
mean?
still the
Right.
C is still the melody note, and now you're just
Okay.
going to play.
Right. A very common one then would be to play a D7 chord.
Okay,
Now that you've got everything there, root, third and seventh.
okay,
It would be a little bit thin on the ground, so you would probably want to put in, say, a fifth either there or there,
okay.
say a root there. But what you would normally want on a dominant seventh is at least one altered note or upper extension. And usually the first one to choose is the ninth, which is E.
Okay.
It just gives it that added bit of colour. Or the flat ninth. Um, you could, if you wanted to use an upper structure, you could do it like this. Now, you're probably thinking, hang on, you've got the third down there, close to the bass, and I've said avoid that. Well, yeah, but it's okay there, down there, it wouldn't be all right, absolutely not. But just
Now, wait,
there,
I'm not sure what you're doing here. What are you?
okay, right. So in the left hand, I'm playing a shell of a D dominant seventh. That is, I'm playing the root, the third, and the seventh.
Okay,
Now in the right hand, there's two ways of looking at this. You could say I'm playing the flattened ninth, I'm playing the flattened fifth, and the seventh. Or you could just say that is an upper structure triad. It's an A flat major triad played in second inversion. And that's one of the four upper structure triads that work over dominant seventh chords. It's the triad that you get on the flattened fifth. So the fifth of D7 is A.
right.
Build a major triad on the flattened fifth, A flat, and then just take the E flat and put it down there. And it's just a nice, easy way of thinking of it.
Right. I got
That's
right. Right.
well, that's a much used. I particularly like that voicing. Um, so then you could make
Oh,
going back to
let me just repeat
yeah,
that back to you. That
sure.
in terms of the upper structures, uh, the that's using the tritone, right? The yeah.
No, no. What I was doing there was I'll go through upper structures on say on C7.
Right. So on C7, I think you would the I'm trying to remember what it was. The two was one of them, which was D,
That's it.
right?
So
Two,
that's a D7, a D chord rather.
right. Then there was the flat six, the A flat triad,
Yeah,
the A
that's
triad,
that's yeah.
and the D minor triad, D flat minor triad.
B flat minor, yeah, and also the flattened fifth. That one.
Right. That's the one I called the tritone.
Oh right, sorry, I didn't. Yeah, in that context, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now these upper structure triads tend to work better in first and second inversion. The one on the two works fine in root position. Also works fine in
Right.
the other position, but the others tend to sound like if you played G flat, it works. But if you play it there, that just kind of works better.
How are you supposed to remember which inversion to play it in?
Well, just remember that
I know it's
generally,
not played in. I remember already that I don't play it in the root position, but at some point, I guess when you begin to play it, I guess it occurs to you which inversion to play it in. No?
yeah, you'll find that you start having kind of favourites, little
Right.
voices that you particularly like, and I wouldn't sort of say right, let's go practice all these in all 12 keys. What I would do is apply them. Is when you're going through a standard, if you get a dominant seventh, just say, does that melody note come in any of those upper structure triads?
Right.
Experiment, try them, and sometimes they won't sound great, so you don't play them.
I
Sometimes you,
really like the sound of the flat nine and the flat 13.
oh yeah, me too. It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Um, so I think that's the way to get them so that they become automatic. Just you're going through a lead sheet, you get to a dominant seventh, and you just say, right, let's look at this melody note, and does it belong to any of those upper structures? And most notes will, because there's four upper structures majors and then there's the minor one. So you'll find that most of the notes on the piano do belong to one of those.
Right. Right.
It's got to sound right with the rest of the tune that you're playing.
Like it's
Sometimes,
funny. Remember, I said to you how I experienced how my ear developed over time. The sharp nine. Still, I'm not comfortable. Of all of the the alt notes,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
sharp
sure.
nine is the most difficult one for me to.
The thing about the sharp nine is it feels like it wants to go to the flat nine. So if you play it like that,
Right.
then you get that tension, but it is immediately resolved.
But I
Do
mean,
it like
at
that.
some point, if as you play more, the sharp nine itself begins to sound more harmonic. Or
Theoretically it does, but personally, I agree with you.
uh,
I don't tend to play it and leave it there. I tend to play it and then put it down
right,
to the
right,
onto the onto the flattened nine.
right,
Like you were saying about the Barry Harris thing with the family of related dominant sevenths. So if you took C7, added the flat ninth, and then lowered each of the notes of that diminished seventh, you get these. You get an E flat seven, G flat seven, and so on. You're just lowering each note and an A7.
right.
Now that kind of works, but so let's say the G flat seven that works because I'm playing it in first inversion. That's the seventh flat ninth seventh root of G flat seven.
Right.
The A7 works, but the flat 7, if you play it doesn't
Yeah.
really work, does it? But if you invert it like that and don't play the D flat, just go on to the D flat, put the third in there, you get that sharp ninth going to flat ninth.
Right.
So yes, I would agree with you there that the sharp ninth is a very harsh sound.
I appreciate you saying that because I mean a lot of people I just say everything sounds good. I mean I don't think everything sounds so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always told this that it's the level that you're at and everything,
Right.
but I mean, there's certain, like a lot of jazz theorists will say that you can have the third and the suspended fourth played at the same time, but you'll not find me playing it because it sounds like this. Sorry, you don't get a more of a discord
The
than that.
suspended fourth generally is a moving note, right? You don't normally play.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing about it is that it's there in place of the third,
Right, and it's going to move to the
and
third.
it's going to move to the third. You can leave it hanging. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what I just cannot accept myself is that you can play it with the third because you've got.
Right.
Now, I think I'd have to live a lot longer to ever be able to accept that that's a nice sound. It just, it jars with me, and so I don't play it. And you can't really sort of argue the point because, no matter what somebody said, if it doesn't sound right to you, then don't play it.
Right.
So yeah, see, the whole thing about the flat ninth, I would argue that where that comes from, because C7 is C7, the dominant seventh in the key of F major, but also in F minor, and I would say that the sharp ninth comes from a descending F minor scale. So it's just the natural note going, and it goes on to there.
So anyway, what I'd like to, you know how I practiced initially when I started playing the piano? I
Yeah,
started playing like C major seven, and then I would flat each note. So I'd go C major seven, C7, C minor seven, C minor seven, flat
yeah,
five, C
sure.
diminished, and then do that in
Yeah,
every key. I'd like
yeah.
to just like come up with an exercise where I put my pinky on the C, and then also develop a little exercise where I'll play go C6 9. Maybe you can come up with, and
Yeah, okay.
once
So,
once I
yeah,
hear it, it'll just
sure.
accelerate my playing of it.
So, what I would do then is say, okay, so we're going to start with your little finger on C and say that that is the root of the chord. So, it can be either C major 6, or it could be the root of C minor 7, or it could be the root of C7, or the root of C minor 7 flat 5. Doesn't sound terribly great that, but it is there. Or C diminished 7. And it could also be the root of C minor 6. And then say, right, treat it as the third now. So it's the third of A minor 7. It's also the third of A minor 7 flat 5. It's also the third of A diminished 7th. And it's the sharpened ninth of A7. And again, I would want to then take it to the flattened ninth. It's the third of of A flat major 7 or A flat 6. it's the third of A flat dominant seventh. You'd want to probably put the ninth in there, or you could put the 13th there. That's a nice voicing for one like that, by the way. Root, seventh, 2/3, and the 13th there. You could have this in the middle of that. Sorry, what am I playing at? That's what I meant to do. You could do things like the 5th, going to the shortened 5th to the 13th. So that's treating the chord as the 3rd. Now you can say, now let's treat it as the 5th. So it's the 5th of F major 7, or F major 6, or F minor 7, or F7. I'll play it there, put the 9th in, or the flat 9. You could make it the 3rd of the 5th rather of my mind's gone blank now. 5th of what? I think that might be it for the 5th.
The 5th
You
of
can't
F.
make it. You can't make it the. You can't make it the 5th of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course, the 5th of E flat minor 7 flat 5. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. No, that's E flat diminished. What am I playing at? D minor 7 flat 5. Sorry. Yeah, see, it's in E flat diminished 7th, and it's the. No, that's the 7th.
Yeah, it's the 5th of F.
Oh, it's that I'm thinking of, yeah. Right. Got there in the end, though. So that's. No, I haven't got there in the end. I have finally. Right, that is now the 5th of F sharp half diminished 7th. Or you could make it F sharp diminished, but that was the one I was searching for. So that's gone through all the 5ths. Now you could say it's the 7th of D minor 7, or the 7th of D7 with the 9th in there. Or you can put that upper structure triad in there. It's the 7th of D minor 7 flat 5, which contains the same notes as F minor 6. And we've already done that as a diminished. So then you could say, all right, it can be the 9th. It can be the 9th of B flat major. It can be the 9th of B flat minor 7. It can be the 9th of B flat 7. And I put a 13th in there, which you could do that on. I would leave the 9ths and 11ths and everything like that with the minor 7 flat 5. They don't kind of work that well. You could play it over a diminished 7th chord as long as it then goes down. So
Right, a whole note
basically,
extension, right.
it's making it like I'm playing B flat in the bass,
Right.
so it's like a flat, a sharp 9th going, resolving downwards.
Right.
So then you can say, okay, it's the 11th. Well, we've covered that with if you play a D minor 7 and G in the bass, that's G suspended fourth with a 9, or just G11, it's the same thing, which would usually resolve. Now, it's the 11th, it's the 11th on a minor 7 chord is not a suspension, it's just an upper extension, and it sounds really nice. You'd usually put the 9th in as well. Struggling to actually play that 10th in my left hand, but that works really well. And then you can say, okay, it's the 13th. Okay, well, it's the 13th of E flat 7, put the 9th in as well. And you wouldn't call it the 13th, you'd call it the 6th of E flat minor 6, which is the same or contains the same notes as C minor 7 flat 5, which you would probably voice like that. So basically the exercise is to take the C and say, right, how many different chords can I find with C as the root? And then you say, right, now treat it as the third. How many different chords can I
Yeah.
play
So
with?
if you could, when you have a few minutes in this view, maybe you could put together a little exercise like playing the C6 9, then going. If it's not too much work, to slowly like play one, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. If it is too complicated, then I'll just work from the video as it exists.
Yeah, no, I can do that. Yeah, because doing it on the spur of the moment, I've probably missed
Because
something
right,
else.
because
Anyway.
if you put it together, then your ear begins to hear it, and then
Yeah, yeah,
that helps you learn. That helps you learn a little bit.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll work on this, and so
Yeah.
perhaps we can meet next. Is next Saturday okay for you?
No, not next Saturday.
Okay.
I'm going to watch my brother's band. They're
Okay.
called the Bus Pass Buskers. But I could would next Sunday be any good?
Sure.
Okay, same time.
I think so. I'll have to check with my wife, but let's make it tentative, and then we'll verify
Yeah,
it by email.
sure, no problem. Okay, no, great stuff. Well
And
done.
as far as the videos are concerned, I don't the WhatsApp thing. I think you can send up to 2 minutes of video on there.
You can on WhatsApp, yeah.
Right. So for some of the short things, you might be able to just send it on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
it's
it's a
easy.
lot
If it's
easier when
easy.
it seems to vary. Some days it just seems to take it straight away, and then
Right.
other days it just keeps saying no, can't send it.
Someone told me they were international. Say, well, so are you. But they were in, where were they? In Thailand. But they said that they use it all the time. They said if you're below 2 minutes, generally the video doesn't cut you off. I'm just sharing that with you. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that may well be the limit. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for working with me on this. So I just shared a bunch
Right.
of ideas, and then perhaps look, I'd like to feel that if I don't get anywhere, at least it wouldn't be for lack of trying. Like we try every different approach, and like you said, so many students like just don't get beyond a certain point.
No, no,
So I'd like to just give it a shot.
absolutely, yeah. Great stuff. Okay, no,
So
well done.
thank you.
My pleasure. See
Okay.
you next week.
Okay.
Cheers then. Whoops. Where's my cursor now?